Everybody, Gerone Wright here again. I'm here back with another Sistine Chapel ceiling image done by Michealangelo. Okay, I know in my last video I said I was going to get off this Noah kick and the flood, but however I was looking at other images this morning and said I better bring this back up and all. As I told you that the depiction of the flood and the signification of the flood is representing that of a mass scale genetic bridging of mankind's genetics. It's not it was never a great flood, not in the sense that we actually were led to believe or realize that it was to be. It just didn't happen that way. This is about genetic bridging of the genetics of that of our ancient genetics, which originated from that of ape, Blackman, and Africa, and that's what this is. This is a representation of how our genes are being altered, and a continuing cult-like ritual process is in place that actually facilitates this process. Now, let me show you here with this. In my last image, I showed you that this there's a woman there. As you can see, she's like a light-skinned version of an African American. Now, and I'm saying she has a penis because it represents that of a man and a female. This is what I found that Michealangelo did in his encryption styles. Okay, he used a male's body to represent a female as well, to represent both genetics. Now, in the last image I showed you that you can see that this is clearly a face of a woman and not that of a male. First of all, African American woman will pick up on that immediately. Now, what also is being signified here is that you can see the red tie around the hair that actually lends to that of being a woman. Now, okay, some people might say, well, that's the way they did it back in ancient history. The males actually did that. Okay, if that's what you want to believe, but I'm going to bring this woman up here to this image and show you where her representation is being made as that as woman. I'm telling you that this representation, woman's face, male's body with the penis in this indicates that there's both bloodlines, that of black, and what's happening is this light-skinned version is showing you how it was genetically bridged and how the likeness of blacks are being genetically altered, and that's what this representation is about. Now, in the last image that I brought up, the same thing appears in that of in the sacrifice of Noah. Okay, underneath the sacrifice of Noah, the same indication is being made of this same person right here in the Sistine Chapel ceiling painting there at the Vatican. Okay, now, where's this woman at? First of all, I want to tell you that, and this male is that. First of all, I want to tell you is that people, you should be troubled. Now, we're talking about back in the 14th century, of course, but notice that in all of these historical moments, that first of all, you should be troubled by the fact that there is no representation of that of people of color, pretty well, black people. You know what I mean? If we evolved from ape, which was known to us now and was known to them back then, okay, why is there no representation being made in the form of black man? I mean, you're talking about Christian, Catholic, religion. I mean, why is it being excluded, people? I mean, why is there no talk of this? I mean, it's like blacks were completely erased out of history, except for that of being slaves of that sort. You see what I'm saying? So there's a major problem with that, first of all. You know what I mean? Just in the mentality of it all. You know what I mean? There's something wrong there. But I'm going to show you that we were not excluded. Not by Michealangelo anyway, who knew how we genetically became. Now, mind you that when Michealangelo made this painting back in the 14th century, that we were not supposed to have been knowing how we genetically evolved from that of ape, and the sense of where ape actually evolved from. But these people actually know it, people. And I can link in every ancient Renaissance artist painting. I can pretty much do the same thing and show you what's going on. But I'm going to make this video short and sweet. Now, I said that this is a representation of a black man and a black woman shown genetically altered to become that genetically of our white counterparts. Okay? I'm going to show you up here where that's being done and how it's being done. The Great Flood think of this as as this whole area in here, where the body of water is. Think of this as a genetic artery. Okay, as a genetic artery. What this is showing you is that there's bridging going on in this genetic vein, this genetic artery. There's bridging going on, and this is why you have this separation of all of these bodies. One here on the plate, and then the Noah Ark's like vessel there, and then you have the how the tree branches back over, and it shows you that there's a genetic bridging. What it's showing you, people, is that these genetics were taken out, flooded, okay, by genes, which I know which they are, and then it shows you how they crossed, bridged back over, and then came right back in and cycled back in, and how they were actually altered here. It's showing you the introduction of genes, the taking out of genes, and then a cyclination of same, and actually where they actually are at and being secured at today. All right, and the body, well, actually it shows you how it's actually not secured, but where they taken off at and what bodies they are in today. And that's what these are, genetic referencing codes. All right, but I'm going to show you something here. I want to show you, I said that this is a black man and a representation of a black woman as well too. Now, whatever is being referenced down here is actually referenced in the image. Now, I'm going to give you the black man first, okay? The black man first, which is, this is supposed to be, if you were to look at that, that's what you would be led to believe, that that was a black man. But I'm telling you, that's a woman's face as well too. Through my paranormal experience and encounter, I knew that automatically, but I'm going to show you in the sense of that. The black man, we're represented right here. You see this man carrying this bag on the back of his head? This is representing, he's carrying the genetics of that of the black man. The sac represents that of the sperm, or the genetics of that of the black man. Now, notice that his head is down, the way his elbows tilted up. It creates the face of that of man/ape. If you were to look at it from multiple different angles, you'll actually see the witch-like woman created in the image as well too, who I dub as the mother of creation, who she appears alongside of the ape. The eye is cleverly created in here. There's a shadow which actually cleverly creates the eye socket right in there, okay, and it shows us the mouth area of that of the ape, and the mother of creation is in there too, whom I can actually draw right in the same image, the multi-dimensional image. Can you see that right there? I'm going to bring that in closer right quick before I do the woman. That is a representation, people, of that of the black man. This is a man, and here's a representation. Now also, here it is right here. Now, these Renaissance artists, I'm going around the ape's mouth. Here's the separation line right there for the ape's mouth, people. Okay. There's the bottom jaw. And again, here's the eye socket, which cleverly creates that. Now, also, I'm going to do also another Michealangelo, along with Da Vinci and many other Renaissance artists. The reason why they studied the anatomy of the human body so much is because people, they knew that they can also place these images within there. Let me see if I can give you this other face here without distorting this too much. But you can actually see the shadow face, the shadow faces of these beings that are here in the anatomy of this male's body right here. Now, these shadowed images, which are represent, I'm going to give it a little eye there and an eye there. These little images, people, are shown morphing onto land, and I can show you where they go. Now, I'm going to back this off a bit. Alright, let me go right here. it shows you where these likenesses actually take off and go. Okay, and they land over here on land, and it shows you how they're genetically spliced and then taken off in another direction there. Now I can do that here as well. Oh, and it shows you where these genes actually take off to and what's actually happening. It shows you a genetic splicing, and where you see the tree root, it represents the ancient genetics of that of which we evolved, people. And you see this skull-like face here, which is green, which actually represents reptilian. Can you see that face there that I just drew, or is that from another angle? Well, if you Google the image, you can actually be able to see it right there. Now, just Google the image and turn it, and you'll see a skull-like face there, and it shows you how these genetics are branched, spliced, and shows you how they take off. And you can see that how this person is climbing up the tree, and it shows you the green, which represents reptilian from down here, how they was bridged, and how it's being bridged back over into the so-called arc right here, and how these genetics are being cycled back over. Let me back that off a little bit. Shows you how these genetics are being cycled back over again. Okay, that's what this is all about. Now, and also with the nudity, okay, you're always wondering why there's always these new characters in the biblical sense, of wondering what's going on. I mean, some of it represents sexuality, the whole nine. But the reason why the clothing are off these people, you know why? For the first time you're going to hear this. First time. Is because these colors that they're wearing represents genetics, genes, in other words. And in other words, the color codes are utilized to represent certain genetics that are being altered, bridged, and manipulated. So therefore, people, if everybody had on their clothing, it would throw off the chemistry of the hidden message of what is actually being said. You see what I'm saying? Now, and also, if they were to, again, if they had all their clothes on, it would throw off it would confuse the image, the genetic image of the underlying message that's actually being said, if I actually said that right. So therefore, if they kept everybody nude as they did here, the certain individuals that have their clothes on are the leading representatives of the bloodlines that are actually being transferred and recycled and being bridged. Okay, and that's why for the most part, everybody is nude, because the main players are color coded, just like the genes are. If you were to actually look at a genetic blueprint, and you would see the different colors representing those genes. That's what's being said here. Okay, if I actually explain that right. Okay, now I gave you the male. Right here, right? There's the male. So now I need to give you the female. Again, this is a representation of the blacks. There's a black man, which represents the ape. If you look at the image at a different angle, the mother of creation is there, which always appears next to the ape. Now I'm going to give you the woman, okay, which is represented right here. I told you that that's the face of a woman. And this represents her female sense as well right here too. Okay. Now, here's the woman. If I can get this right. Notice that there is a nun-like individual right here. There's a nun-like woman right here. Right there. Okay. There's her face. There's her like hoodie right there. She's cleverly cloaked in there. She's carrying the black genetics of that of the ancient female woman. Now, there's two apes. I'm going to draw one first. I'm coming around the top nose bridge of the ape. coming around by his mouth portion and down underneath his jawline. These people grouped up shows you, and just like this individual is carrying the genetics of that over the set on the back from the Blackman, and it's showing you that they're carriers of the genes. Here's the nun is doing the same exact thing as that individual right there. I'm over the eye area of the ape, okay, and this would be the would-be mouth of the ape right there. Can you see that, people? Did I get that in? Let me come in a little closer. Let me come in a little closer for you, and I'll go over it again. Here's the mouth of the ape. This nun is carrying the genetics of the African American woman. Right there. It shows you how these genes were altered, and now there is a representation in this nun right here. Okay, it's showing you pretty much, people, how the evolution of black genes from ape to black genes, and then to that of our white counterparts, and it's showing you where these genes were actually going off and taken off to, which is actually not supposed to be happening, people, in this time. And there's even a representation of a cross right here, showing you that there is a cross reference, which I told you for the first time that crosses represent the cross-referencing of mankind's genetics in a cult-like fashion. Now, for those of you that don't want to believe that, in the same forehead, here's the ape's forehead right here. Now, and I gave you one ape right there. There's coming over the mouth. I mean the nose. I mean the upper lip portion. There's the ape right there. There's the eye socket. Okay, this is the forehead. Now, it shows you there was a splicing. Well, how? Because these individuals create that of a second ape, which is right here, coming around, people, by its mouth, coming up. Look at this, people. Look at that. There's the ape's nostril right there, and it shows you how these genetics, and it shares the head. There's the eye. It shares the head, the forehead area, with the first ape, and it's showing you that this nun is carrying the luggage of these black genes on her back. So this great flood of genetics of that of our black ancestors, our ape ancestors, it shows you the genes that were pulled out of this great flood of genetic manipulation, and how they were muled by these individuals out, genetically spliced, and showing how they're being recycled back to alter the different likenesses of mankind. And this is how we look so different today amongst the civilizations of people that is global. Now imagine this power, people. People actually know this. Look at this. Let me back off of this a little bit. Imagine this. Shows you how genes, ancient genes genetically manipulated. Shows you how they were taken up and recycled back around again to where they were altered, and that's what the whole meaning of the great flood with Noah is representing. And this representation is made in not just Michelangelo's Renaissance artwork, but in every Renaissance artist's artwork that is referencing the biblical flood of that of Noah. The deluge, that is the same representation, people, of that of alterings. If you look in there, you will see the encryptions of that, of the references of the ape being made, because that is the genetics that is being made. Today going on, they're using even today. I can show you the same exact thing of these ancient implications being made, people. You have been had, and it's just the bottom line. Whether you want to believe it or not, watch me take apart one Renaissance artist painting after another. because what I have found is truly genuine through my paranormal experience and encounter. There is much more that I can read the entire image too, by the way, people. I'm not just showing you images of apes and witches and all of that. It actually has a message that is actually being stated in what's going on here. Of course, I told you I know where the ape evolved from, so therefore reading this is child's play. Alright, so I just want to let you know that this is much bigger and deeper than you could ever imagine. Okay, but something's gonna give. You know what I mean? Because I'm gonna keep shoving this down the world's throat until it does. All right, my name is Gerone Wright. You're watching my Geronification channel. Okay, I'm also on alien UFOs, dreams and experiences. Okay, and my site there is I am an alien and so are you. I evolved through there to come to here to do this. Okay, so it's very interesting on how all of this actually came upon me. I struggled at first and didn't know what was going on with me, and I mean it was weird, to be totally honest with you. That occurred back in 2009, almost some 4 years ago. And then come to find out, as I was looking at other things that I was doing, that this has been with me since as far back as 2000, which would have been about 12 years ago. And I know if I was to think back, I would probably be able to connect it back further. Okay, and I identified with something that was always in me, and in doing that, and once I opened up myself to it, people, I had this truly remarkable experience encounter where I was uplifted out of my body at 12 o'clock in noon in the daytime, and found myself looking back down on our world from space. You know what I mean? I would not be telling you this if it was not true. I was wide awake. I don't drink. I don't smoke. I don't do drugs, although I used to, and some 20 plus years ago. But I'm not doing none of these things now. And this out of body experience that I had back in last March, I believe it was. Last March, this actually happened to me. And back when this happened to me, people, I'm gonna tell you something. It's truly incredible. Imagine being 12 o'clock in the afternoon at my computer, being pulled out of my body from my dining room area, sitting by the window, taken back up into space, and looking down on our planet. And the only thing that I can remember looking back down on our world, and the one thing that subconsciously something kept saying to me subconsciously is don't look back. I had this sense of something being behind me in space that I was not supposed to look back at. And just recently, I made that connection to what actually happened with Lot and his wife, where they told his wife not to look back or she would turn into a pillar of salt. And I equate that with being something like that. I could not imagine what would have happened if I would have turned around and looked back. You know what I mean? But anyway, I listened to my conscience and I did not look back. And it's just truly remarkable of everything that is happening with me now and what I can actually share here in these videos. And by the way, people, I do not have no end. I can do this over and over and over and over again, because everything that we were taught to believe to be that of reality is not reality. It's reverse that of reality. And what I am finding is I'm divulging the truth to you. And in doing that, there's this, my materials and resources is unlimited. You know what I mean? Because there are a select few of people that actually knew how we were created and what was going on with our creation, and they referenced it in their paintings. This boom of Renaissance artwork, it was all referenced all along and in our faces. And people, even if you don't want to believe everything of what I'm saying or what I'm stating, then look at it like this here. Look at all of these weird paintings. All of these weird paintings, people. All of these weird paintings. And these weird paintings have this crazy symbolic meaning. Like, what in the world were these people thinking when they made these paintings? You see what I'm saying? And then here I come along and explaining and pointing out different encryptions and telling you what it means. It means genetic bridging, what the flooding meant, and why do you see all these strange behaviors in these pictures, which make more sense than that of anything that is being offered. People in Christianity do not even offer you an explanation for this. You know why? Because they know what the true meaning of it is, and they can't tell you the meaning behind it all, because if they were to tell you something other than the truth, then they were telling you a lie, which in itself is against the rules of being Christian, or being Christian like, or whatever. You see what I'm saying? So therefore, they opt to not tell you anything, because not telling you anything is not telling you a lie. But look at what I'm doing, people. Picture after picture, Renaissance artist work after Renaissance artist. I'm consistently showing you the same thing. Genetic bridging with that of mankind, ancient mankind, which represents ape and black man. They don't show you a black person here, but yet I showed you a black man and a woman in the same body here, and then I brought them up here and showed you where they're at. The woman is back here, represented by the nuns, who I'm telling you right now is involved with this, with genetic bridging, okay, and the Vatican, okay, the same exact thing. And I'm telling you that these genetic bridgings that are going on represents homosexuality, lesbianism, bisexual encounters, molestation, porn. All of these things, people, are included in this. All of these things. I mean, when we looked at it as being divine, these angels being naked and with their penises up to individuals' faces and everything else, we looked at it as an innocence, because there was a sense of being divinity, being divine. But now I've taken all of that away and showing you that it represents, the true meaning of it is genetic bridging. How are genetics exchanged? Through blood, through semen, through bodily fluids. The way that a common cold or diseases are being spread. It's the same exact thing. Before there was the ability to intravenously do these genetic bridgings and exchanges, people, they did it in a sexual sense, orally. And this is what the journey of Jesus was about. John the Baptist, Noah, you name them. Isaac, Abraham. These people sacrificed themselves genetically to alter the original genes of being ape and black man. And over again, I will keep bringing you the same exact message. You know why? Because I discovered the truth. And I'm going to hammer it away home until it is out. Point blank. Thank you. My name is Gerone Wright. Please see the rest of my videos here. I have almost 80 videos, if I didn't reach that number yet. 80 videos, people, that are all consistently showing you the same exact thing. Thank you for your time. I appreciate your viewing time. Thank you.